Hi, and welcome to Metal Supermarkets, the convenience stores for metal. I'm Jason Jackson, Operations and Development Manager. Telescoping tube is something that customers often ask us for advice on. It can get a bit tricky, and there are some important factors to consider when trying to choose the correct sizes of material. So in this video, I'll go over our tips for telescoping tube. Telescoping tube is when one piece of tube is inserted into another. It is often required when tube needs the ability to adjust to account for unknown or constantly changing lengths. Examples include adjustable table legs, shower curtains, railings, and supports. Our first tip for telescoping tube is to use square tubing. It is the most commonly used shape for telescoping and works better than round tube or pipe. To make sure your tubes will telescope properly, you need to know the inside diameter of the larger tube. If it's not provided, you can simply measure the ID, or you can measure the outside diameter and the wall thickness, then subtract the wall thicknesses twice from the OD. Another consideration is that many tubes have an inside weld seam that can interfere with the telescoping. Using drawn-over mandrel tube, or DOM, will help avoid any complications, as this type of tube has no weld seam. Leaving at least 0.010 of an inch between the OD of the inner tube and ID of the larger tube should allow for them to telescope properly. However, it is not a guarantee. It is also important to remember that tubing has OD and ID tolerances. This means that the actual measurements listed may vary slightly. The tolerances tend to run larger on the outside diameter and smaller on the inside diameter. Even if you allow for 0.010 of an inch, these tolerances may prevent the tube from telescoping. Another option is to consider using a nominal pipe for the outer section and an OD tube for the inner section. Because of all of these considerations, our number one tip for telescoping is to confirm in person whenever possible. If your project requires telescoping tube, the staff at your local metal supermarkets will be happy to help you find the right sizes. And you can test out the telescoping in store. Hopefully these tips will help you the next time you have a project that involves telescoping metal tube. If you need metal tube for your next project, Metal Supermarkets is the world's largest supplier of small quantity metals, carrying over 8,000 types, shapes, and grades of metal, including various types of tubes, cut to size and ready fast.